All right. Shalom, Akim. Start this lesson. We want to give our praise and our glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakat, Dash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of great millstone that taught us the truth. Peace and blessing to the sincere Akims, that pushes truth, all throughout the four corners of the earth to lead to us Shalom. All right, it's a brother Yara Ariel, the great millstone Miami camp. To come back to the spirit power of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai to make another quick hit, quick lesson. All right, going into famine. All right, because seeing just look at the global events that's happening, okay, on the face of the earth, man. Starting off with Iran and Israel, all right, and with the oil, okay, and with inflation. Okay, people think that just because there's a fight in the Middle East, that doesn't affect, okay, your day-to-day needs and your day-to-day lives. These things affect your daily living. Okay, when gas is going up and when food starts going up, it's for a reason, man. Okay, because things become more valuable. All right, it becomes more hard to get. All right, and it says the U.S. farmers are in crisis. The Iran war is not helping. I said it says over the past year, that's right, man. Even before the Iran and Israel fight or war, even before the war, the farmers was already facing, famine issues or facing, uh, you know, agricultural issues, man, before the war even started. But now that United States has been into this war, things are getting worse. Okay, and real soon we are going to see a real, you know, a real planned out famine, man. Okay, that the Lord has told us is going to happen. Okay, scripture speak about a famine of the word. Scripture speak about famine of food too as well. These things are going to happen. All right, whether you want to believe it or not, these things are prophesied in the scriptures and they will happen. Okay, so it says starting down a record high business coast. Talk is starting down record high business coast as lower profit yields. That's right, man. It says cuts to U.S. Department of Agriculture. And that's another proof that we are living in a time of prophecy because what the scriptures say. Eat your plowing shares and the pruning hooks. Okay, these nations with America too as well. Okay, they're not putting their money towards that, like it says, agriculture, man. They are getting more of the cuts, man. Okay, they getting more. They're taking a hit too because understand that America has to put in money into agriculture, man. That's how he makes his food in America. Okay, that's how America makes its money, or how America feeds its citizens, man. Okay, through its farmers. And when you start giving the farmers cuts, okay, when you start cutting their way to make to make food, all right, what does that do? Okay, Slakia. When you start cutting their their budget to produce food, all right, what does that do? That makes farming even hard because they rely on the government to supply their needs when it comes to foods and crops and machinery. All right, when you start to take away those things, and then now you're in the midst of a war because this is something that they was dealing with before the war. All right, when you when you take those things away, all right, that money and that budget. Well, what does that do? That creates a crisis, and ultimately, it's all just leading up to famine, really. Okay, that's what it's really all really leading up to. Okay, because this devil wants to create order through chaos. So start an issue, okay, dealing with famine, and just have you try to come to him for all things. All right, that's what that's what this devil wants. All right, and I had a couple precepts lined up too as well. All right, going into famine, because famine is coming, brothers. Okay, and it says, "And famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war the power of the sword." And that's right, man. In famine, he's going to redeem us. Okay, in famine, he's going to put that hedge of protection over us, so that we are, we are eating and drinking. The scripture talking about, we're going to be eating and drinking, in those times. All right, only, only the wicked of our nation. Okay, y'all gonna be suffering. Y'all gonna be going to, run to the store and try to go to eat off of help, but it's not gonna benefit y'all, man. Because guess what? Y'all done laughed, y'all done mocked, y'all done scoffed. Y'all done scoffed y'all about Shema Shai, thinking that just because, now all hell breaking loose, now please, Lord, please, no. Because ultimately our people see, what's going on, on the face of the earth. They see, the times that we living in. Okay? And only the men of the Lord, and ultimately they see what's going on. And once all these things that we was telling them happen, that's when they're gonna know that what we were saying was true. They, and they may not believe it right now, but when there's no food in the stores, because could speak about that, when there's no food in the stores, you can't eat, you can't drink. That's when you're gonna realize what we were saying was true. Scripture say, "Then shall they know a prophet was amongst them." All right, and it says, this is Psalm 33 and verse 18, and it says, "Behold, the eye of the Lord Yahweh is upon them that fear Him, and upon them that hope for His mercy." And that's right, man. The eyes of the Lord are upon His men that fear Him, man. On those that fear the Lord. Those that fear the Lord right now, man. Fear goes into reverence. Those that reverence Yahweh Shema Shai in true sincerity. Okay, that's what the Lord's gonna keep. That's what the Lord's gonna keep His hedge of protection over, ultimately. Okay. All right, and it says to deliver the soul from death and to keep thee alive, keep them alive in famine. That's right, man. The Lord's gonna keep us alive in famine. The Lord's gonna allow us to be merry and have abundance. Okay, because guess what? We've been doing what the Lord told us to do before the famine. Who was warning out of the famine. Okay? So that now, when it happens, we're gonna be rejoicing, man, because that's what we want, man. We really want y'all, stomachs to touch our backs because America has created it to where you are just so comfortable. Okay, you don't gotta worry about food. You can Uber eat food. You can have food delivered to your house. You can walk like 5 minutes and you find food. Like Esau made it so easy for you guys, easy for the people, to eat, man. You can have food delivered to your house 3 times a day, and that's a comfortability that the Lord is going to take away, man. That feeling of being comfortable is going to be taken away, man. And famine is a great thing to do that. And there's a saying that I always say, okay, that I saw in a Snickers bar. It says, "You're not you when you're hungry," and that's true, man. You are not yourself when you're hungry. When you can't figure out where your meal is coming from, your mind starts to bug out. You start looking at things as food. You know, continuing on, because these people think that they could come and wait till the end to try and seek the Lord, and that's not going to happen. Second Ezra 6, verse 22, and it says, "And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses be suddenly found empty." Driving all your Walmarts, your superstores, okay, all your global supercenters, your markets, they're all going to be empty, man. They're going to think that they're going to just run to the, run to the supermarket. But guess what? You understand that in the time of calamity, in the time of trouble, everybody's going to bug out. Okay, if you're not rooted in Yahweh Shema Shai, you are going to bug out, man. Okay, you have to understand that, right? Because everybody's going to be trying to go to the store and try to buy things towards the end. But as you can see, and brothers watch the movie Leave the World Behind. Okay, when you think that you're going to be able to just, try to go to a store, understand that it's going to be martial law. It's going to be people already trying to do that. Okay, people are already going to try to be running to the store, so it's going to be traffic as well as that. Cars behind cars, and then people going to ditch their cars, start running to the supermarkets, and when they get there, it's going to be empty. All right, all these things are going to be empty. All right, and that's gonna be that's when reality is gonna set in, man. When people see that, okay, because that famine is coming. This is second Ezra 15 and verse 19, and it says, "And the man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword." Okay, and that's right, man. A man that got pity on his neighbor, somebody that they knew for 20 plus years. Okay, it says they shall destroy the house with the sword. And what is the sword? The modern day gun. They're going to destroy their neighbor houses with the sword. Okay, because of the the lack of food. It says and spoil their goods. Okay, this is because of the lack of bread for great tribulation, right? Because of the lack of bread, because of the lack of food, they're going to spoil their neighbors, man. All right, and understand that this famine is coming, and seeing that that the U.S. is already having trouble with their war, and farmers are already complaining about it. A famine is going to happen, man, and it's coming. Okay, but I just wanted to quickly bring that article out. Okay, going into how famine is coming. All right, and we are seeing that war with Iran and Israel, and as you can see by the article, it's not making the farming situation any better, man. Okay, so no one's lesson is edifying. Okay, with that, I do want to give all praise and all glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Kakadash. To the born star apostles and elders of great militant that taught us his truth. Peace and blessing to the sincere audience. With that, I do want to say, Shalom.